Plato's Closet in West Ashley and North Charleston are springing up cash. Just sell us your gently used warm weather styles, like tees, shorts, sandals, and more. We're paying cash on the spot for gently used spring styles for guys and girls. Support sustainable fashion. This spring, do your thing and recycle the spring-inspired clothes, shoes, and accessories that are just hanging in your closet for cash on the spot. Let your spring clothes bloom into cash at Plato's Closet. Plato's Closet, located in West Ashley on Sam Rittenberg Boulevard and North Charleston on Rivers Avenue.
News, talk, and sports for Bismarck Mandan. Super Talk 1270. It's time for Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270. Talk of the Town, brought to you by Big Boy. Just get in line. It moves fast. Dakota Pharmacy and Dakota Natural Health Center. We're here to help you stay well. Trademark Realty. Peak Automotive and Service. Runnings, your home, farm, and outdoor store. And Silver Ranch.
You're tuned to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270. I'm Steve Bakken, and we're going to be talking with Lori Hintz coming up in just a few minutes. She is traveling today, but a lot going on with what took place last week and what's taking place, in the very near future with Summit Carbon Solutions' proposed CO2 pipeline. We'll get the latest on that coming up in just a few minutes. Also, Jason Spee is going to check in with us. We're going to talk a little college football. Of course, a couple schools maybe a little slighted with the 4 playoff teams that were picked yesterday. We'll talk about that coming up in a little bit. We'll check in with Runnings, find out what they've got going on as we are heading into the holidays, into the Christmas season, and time to check in with travel, of course, one part of the Christmas holidays, but we've got the National Weather Service. Jason joining us this morning. Jason, a little bit of a snow squall came through this morning, and it was actually kind of nice. It was that snow globe snow for a while. Snowed really heavy, but it was coming straight down, which doesn't happen a lot in North Dakota. Kind of pretty this morning.
Yeah, thanks, Steve, for having me today. Yeah, we actually had that that Christmas movie snow today. It kind of gets you back in the holiday spirit. We haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah, usually the only time we see that is when I walk in the door and my wife's watching a Hallmark movie, because that's the only kind of snow they get, not typically what we get here in North Dakota. And how much snow are we expecting out of this?
Yeah, this one's probably going to get the same amount of accumulations as those movies. We're looking at probably maybe a half inch for some areas if it overperforms an inch. But overall, it's just something that kind of reduces the visibility for a little bit. Maybe slows you down for a little bit. Take it nice and easy and then get through it. But not a lot of accumulations today with this system.
One of the other things, too, is our snow usually is accompanied by some sort of a wind event, and we get a little bit of wind. It could get a little windy in parts of North Dakota later on this afternoon.
Yeah. It seems like with these systems, someone's going to get windy. So, Bismarck kind of misses out on the stronger winds today, but out in the southwest part of the state, Dickinson South, could see those gusts over 50 miles per hour from the northwest at times. So a little breezy out there. So if you have pulling any high-profile vehicles today, you probably want to be a little careful with those.
So what we're looking at right now, temperature-wise, it seems like it's a little out of the ordinary. It seems like we've been pretty nice, pretty mild temperatures up to this point so far.
Yeah, today even with this system, our highs are still in the 30s, maybe low 40s. And then after this moves through, we're on a kind of a slow warming trend to Wednesday. I don't know if anyone has any outdoor plans Wednesday. I'm starting to think of some as our highs are getting into the 50s, maybe lower 60s for some areas.
So we've got one day it's going to be 55-ish is what I saw for a high on Wednesday. Is that going to stick around for a while, or are we going to... The big question is, when are we going to get back to seasonal temperatures?
Yeah, that's a good question. That 55 is going to be a short-lived thing, but the above-average temperatures, that could stick around for a while. We'll put cool in quotes, but we cool later this week, but we're only cooling back into the 30s, which for this time of year is still right around normal, maybe even still slightly above normal. So, we're kind of getting a mild start to the winter so far.
I'm not going to complain about it. I'll take it as long as we can get. As far as the extended forecast, precipitation systems lining up, I know it's a little far out to start talking about Christmas time and people's travel plans, but long-range forecasting, what are we looking at? We're kind of in this pattern, aren't we?
Yeah, we're really starting to see the kind of the El Nino pattern take shape, where a lot of the stuff is kind of shifting to the southern part of the U.S., and we kind of just get split flowed over us. So, Now, I've looked at every outlook. We have a 6 to 10 day, an 8 to 14 day, and a 3 to 4 week outlook, and all of them are above normal temperatures and slightly below normal precipitation. So, kind of expect what we're seeing now to continue a little bit. That being said, maybe we get a quick system later this week, so that's something we're kind of monitoring in the near term here. But yeah, this pattern may stick around for a little bit.
Kind of just looking at maybe quick-moving clipper systems that might just drop through the area, and that's about it as far as the long range right now?
Yeah, pretty much. We were just looking. Bismarck historically has about 70% chance of a white Christmas, meaning an inch of snow or more on the ground, and we saw it last year. But 70% means 3 out of 10 in 10 years span don't have that. So. If this pattern takes up, it's going to be tough to get to that.
I do remember one year living in Grand Forks. Me and my buddies, we loaded up and drove to Bismarck and Mandan on New Year's Day because Prairie West was open, and we wanted to say that we golfed after the first of the year. And we were able to do that one year. I'm not hoping for that. Well, I may be a little bit. It's probably not a possibility, but it has happened in the past.
Exactly. I'm sure, especially around Christmas time, we would like to see the snow on the ground. But, let's think about last year. I think a lot of us would have liked to rather golf last year than see all the snow we got. So maybe take advantage of it if you can. That's a unique thing to say.
We're owed a mild winter, right?
Exactly right. We put in our time last year.
Well, Jason, thank you very much. What time are we looking at the winds starting to pick up around the area in southwestern North Dakota today?
Some of them, beach North Dakota has already kind of picked up. So by noon for sure, and noon Central Time and then even noon local time out there. So not too much longer will those start to pick up. So look for some breezy, windy conditions. Thank
you, Jason. Jason over at the National Weather Service. You have a good day, my friend.
Thank you as well. Thanks for having us.
Supertalk 1270, you're tuned to Talk of the Town. I'm Steve Bakken along with Lori Hintz joining us from Beck News. Of course, beck.news, BEK.NEWS for all things Beck News. And, of course, they are following very closely what's going on with the proposed CO2 pipeline from Summit Carbon Solutions, what's going on in some of the other locations as well with some of these other CO2 sequestration projects as well. So when we come back, we'll talk with Lori and find out the latest that's going on. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Super Talk.
Plato's Closet in West Ashley and North Charleston are springing up cash. Just sell us your gently used warm weather styles like tees, shorts, sandals, and more. We're paying cash on the spot for gently used spring styles for guys and girls. Support sustainable fashion. This spring, do your thing and recycle the spring-inspired clothes, shoes, and accessories that are just hanging in your closet for cash on the spot. Let your spring clothes bloom into cash at Plato's Closet. Plato's Closet, located in West Ashley on Sam Rittenberg Boulevard and North Charleston on Rivers Avenue.
Welcome back to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Joining us on the program, Lori Hintz. Lori, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for having me on again. I really appreciate getting the word out on this.
A lot took place last week, including we also found out about a date coming up with the Public Service Commission.
Correct. There is a notice of hearing that is on the docket that came out on the Public Service Commission's website, and it says, it reads like this. On September 29th, SCS Carbon Transport renewed its motion to declare Burleigh and Emmons County ordinances superseded and preempted. And on October 5th, the Commission received a request for oral argument. The hearing is now scheduled for December 21st at 2 p.m. Central Time in the Pioneer Room at the State Capitol Judicial Ring, ground floor, Bismarck, North Dakota. The issue to be considered and argued is the application of North Dakota Century Code 49-22.1-13 to local land use or zoning regulations. And so that is very big news. We've been waiting for that to come out. We knew it was on the way. We just didn't know exactly when it was going to happen. And as it turns out, it'll be 4 days before Christmas that hearing will be held. Oral arguments will be held at that time. And that's going to be fascinating because in light of, as you know, Steve, the PHMSA email that went to the various different entities, the three different CO2 companies, it should be fascinating to see how the Public Service Commission, and they have been very good, to be fair, they've been very good about erring on the side of the people whom they serve. So it'll be very interesting. I suspect there will be a very large crowd there for that hearing.
Okay, so with this hearing coming up, could that have been part of the reason? Because Summit really didn't raise a whole lot of issue with the city of Bismarck becoming an intervener. I kind of think that, well, it's moot because we're going to try to get everything all thrown out. Is that your inclination as well?
I don't really have an inclination on that, but you may be right. I mean, that they may be, putting all their eggs in the basket of saying, okay, we're going to be able to preempt this because we've got, the entities involved on our sides, and we definitely have better jurisdiction than the counties, say, for instance. But you might be right on that. That's pure speculation, though, on my part. I think that it's going to depend on the oral arguments.
It is, but to me, in the back of my mind, it's kind of that they're just figuring out where to pick their battles, and if they can have one battle instead of multiple battles, then great. You pick everything off all at once. As far as some of the other movement that's taking place over this last week, because last week was kind of a big week. I mean, you've got the Bismarck stuff with the Bismarck City Commission. You got the intervener. You had the public information forum that took place at the Bismarck Public Library. It seems, and a lot of people very well attended, a lot of people that may have not been aware of the rerouting plan as well. There was a lot of people that showed up at that. So it seems like there's a little bit better flow, despite not coming from the mainstream media, but there seems to be a little bit better flow of information, at least getting out to the public and those that are affected.
And I would agree with that. I would say that the landowners themselves have really taken that to heart and taken that as a goal to try to share their information people to people. And as you know, with everything, in the case of getting information out, word of mouth is just the absolute best way, especially if you do not have, as you say, the mainstream media covering this on a weekly basis as we are. What happens is people talk and people find out, hey, wait a minute, I found out that this new reroute is going to be near my home. I had a gal say that to me just a month or so ago, and she said, hey, I just found this out. What can you tell me about this information? So it is a good thing that the people of the community are aware of that, and I think that's why Bismarck also decided, as you said, to become an intervener. And you're right, it was interesting that there was no real pushback on that, was there?
No, not really. And, speaking of landowners, I want to get into the Landowners Association, a little event that took place. But let's do that after the break. We're talking with Lori Hintz of Beck News. You can go to beck.news, BEK. Burley, Emmons, Kidder County is what Beck stands for. BEK.news. Go through the tabs. Lori Hintz has done some great expose work, some great stories there, getting down to the facts and finding out what you need to know as a resident and somebody who potentially could be affected by the proposed Summit CO2 pipeline. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Yeah. Plato's Closet in West Ashley and North Charleston are springing up cash. Just sell us your gently used warm weather styles like tees, shorts, sandals, and more. We're paying cash on the spot for gently used spring styles for guys and girls. Support sustainable fashion. This spring, do your thing and recycle the spring-inspired clothes, shoes, and accessories that are just hanging in your closet for cash on the spot. Let your spring clothes bloom into cash at Plato's Closet. Plato's Closet, located in West Ashley on Sam Rittenberg Boulevard and North Charleston on Rivers Avenue.
Marlo Anderson
and Steve Bakken
on Super Talk 1270, Saturday afternoons 1 till 4 on Super Talk 1270. Talk of the Town, brought to you by Big Boy. Just get in line. It moves fast. Dakota Pharmacy and Dakota Natural Health Center. We're here to help you stay well. Trademark Realty. Peak Automotive and Service. Runnings, your home, farm, and outdoor store. And Silver Ranch. Welcome back to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Super Talk 1270. I'm Steve Biden along with Lori Hintz of Beck News. You can go to beck.news, BEK.news. All the latest on what's going on with Summit Carbon Solutions' proposed CO2 pipeline. And Lori, I mentioned, the landowners and those being affected, and there seems to be a little bit more of a flow of communication, at least getting out there, if not from the mainstream media. But there's a presidential candidate who is making this a point, which at some point the mainstream media on a national platform is going to have to pay attention. Vivek Ramaswamy has made CO2 pipelines and CO2 sequestration. He's made it a platform item. Just had an event. Fill us in on that.
Okay, so there is a group down in Nebraska called the Free Soil Coalition. They have held events before. The main person pushing that Free Soil Coalition is a former congressman from Iowa named Steve King. Steve King has a long history with saying things that are unpopular and being kind of censored and squashed by the mainstream media, and he is fearless. The guy is fearless. Anyway, so Steve King hosted this event with the Free Soil Coalition with Vivek Ramaswamy, who, as you know, is one of the presidential candidates. He's a 38-year-old entrepreneur. He has a phenomenal history. He sold his company at one point for $600 million. So he's independent of a lot of people because he can self-fund and has been doing so. Vivek Ramaswamy decided he was going to take on Kim Reynolds head on, which is so interesting because Kim Reynolds is the governor of Iowa. Now, Kim Reynolds has had some friendship with Bruce Rastetter, who is the originator of Summit Carbon Solutions and Summit Farms and Summit, all things Summit. And so you've got a gentleman who is friends with the governor. They have Bruce Rastetter has managed to also fund several other governors and make contributions to several other governors in the Midwest involved with this. And Vivek Ramaswamy, somebody talked to him. I suspect it might have been Steve King. Talked to Vivek Ramaswamy, explained to him the situation with the pipelines and with the eminent domain, and Vivek ran with it. He decided he was going to hold this event on Friday in Des Moines, Iowa, at a Holiday Inn, and he had this event, and there were speakers, there were legislators from all over the place. There were several landowners who spoke at this event, and the Republican presidential candidate and entrepreneur called using eminent domain for building the pipelines illegal and unconstitutional, and he criticized carbon capture as a badly misguided policy, called it a climate hoax. And it was a packed room. I got to watch the stream of the event online from Bismarck, and it was fascinating to hear how the details of this are very clear to Vivek Ramaswamy, and he is challenging people. He also said, interestingly, that should he not garner the nomination, he still would be fighting this fight, he said.
That's very interesting. And, I always try to figure out the backstory and the angles on this. And I'm guessing Kim Reynolds, the governor of Iowa, her endorsement for Governor DeSantis probably might have been a little bit of a trigger to this.
Could be. It also could be the fact that Vivek Ramaswamy, who tends to, well, people have said that he he tends to say things that people want to hear. And it freaks people out often because they keep thinking to themselves, this guy is too good to be true. This is ridiculous. Is he just saying it because he knows we want to hear it, or does he actually believe it? I mean, that's the constant question people have told me about him. I've seen him speak several times. I've met him several times. He seems completely sincere when I met him, so I didn't get the vibe to him that he was blowing smoke. But the thing about it is that I suspect he realized how important it is to the people on the ground in Iowa to protect their land from eminent domain. And he figured out, okay, if I go and champion this for them, the people on the ground will talk to each other and they will want to support me because they know I understand their struggle. So that is what I suspect is going on. I think he just figured out this is a hot button issue in Iowa. Nobody else seems to be talking about it. And so therefore I'm going to jump on this. I'm going to do all I can to make sure that people know that I am supporting the landowners of Iowa because I will get great support for the Iowa primary.
You know, Lori, seems how you have a connection and have had an opportunity to meet Mr. Ramaswamy. I'm wondering if there might be some advantages for him to come to North Dakota because you've got the headwaters of all this CO2 activity and the pipelines and the sequestration projects down in Iowa. Maybe come to where they're going to bury everything. So, you know, the front and the back side of this, plus, you know, he is fighting another presidential candidate as well. So maybe you could reach out to Vivek and get him to come to North Dakota.
I don't know about that. I don't really have that kind of a connection with him. Like I said, I've met him before, but I will tell you this. I was very fortunate to go to the First in the Nation Summit, which was held in Nashua, New Hampshire in October. And I saw at that time 9 separate candidates speak. And I met another gentleman there called Ryan Binkley, who is also running. He's out of Texas, and he's running for president as well. He's never made it to the debate stage, but he is still in the race, and as far as I can tell, has not pulled out yet. Ryan Binkley has also spoken a little bit to Trent Luce, I believe, about the CO2 pipeline. So that's interesting. And then I think Perry Johnson also, who also is now out of the race, another presidential candidate, has spoken of it too. With Vivek Ramaswamy, when he spoke on Friday, he did talk about the sequestration in North Dakota. He talked about North Dakota, and so he is intimately aware about what the details are of the sequestration plan in North Dakota. He, like I say, if you watch the video of the recording of the event at the Free Soil Coalition, it was on there that he did talk about North Dakota. So that is not beyond the realm of possibility. The trick would be maybe closer to our caucus, which will be held in North Dakota on the Republican side March 4th. So that is a possibility. Maybe he will decide that he's going to, try to get some North Dakota votes that way. I don't know. We'll see.
Lori Hens from Beck News, Beck.News. Lori, if you take a look at what's going on just from a global perspective for a second, and there's starting to be a lot of pushback on climate change issues, and is the science valid? And I don't want to get into that, but we're also seeing a doubling down from the climate change agenda and the Green New Deal and Green Coalition agenda. You just saw the summit that just took place, and it seems like from a bigger perspective, we're facing off for a battle on, okay, what's legitimate science and what's not. Do you get that sense? And carbon sequestration could come down to ground zero of that.
There was a big group. I want to say it was COP28 was what I think it was titled. But yes, and that is exactly right. There is a great debate going on right now on the science of this whole climate thing. it deals with basically, is the CO2 in the atmosphere a danger, or is the CO2 that is in the atmosphere plant food? So there are two sides that are warring on this too. There's the climate change folks who say, no, it's too high, our planet is warming, this is dangerous for us. And yet there are those who know that the circle of life involves CO2 and trees and plant life and all things requiring CO2 at the same time. So that is a very great point. There is no real settled science on this. There is a major push-pull that continues. And it kind of runs often on party lines, too, which is why all of a sudden we've got all of these huge monetary incentives in order to do climate change things, in order to deal with ethanol things. More things recently coming out in the news have to deal with the use of CO2 for aviation fuel, with big carbon hubs that you've heard about also that are popping up all over the place. So it's really fascinating to me because as you watch how these things go, it's difficult to pick sides because you keep hearing conflicting stories back and forth, Steve.
Richard Branson just had a flight this weekend, completely sustainable, non-traditional energy fuel source for the jet. It's just so right. Yes, the CO2 and the other thing is down in the atmosphere or up in the atmosphere, CO2 actually breaks down, and one of the things it produces is water. And I spent years working on this. Is nobody addresses the methane side of it, and that's actually a greenhouse gas that doesn't have benefit. They want to go after cow farts, but they leave the 800-pound gorilla in the room. Landfills, which is the top producer of methane, second or third largest methane producer globally, depending on what study you look at, but don't address those. But so I always wonder if there's, what's the political agenda behind something, and are you legitimately wanting to make a difference or improve something versus, no, it's driven by a political agenda. And that's kind of where I'm falling on the CO2 side of stuff. If you want to make a difference, go after the methane, go after landfills, get rid of the landfills. And there's opportunities to do that. So again, is there a political agenda behind things? And that's what people have to ask themselves and look at honestly for themselves to make up their own mind.
This past week also, all of a sudden you're hearing hydrogen. So I'm trying to play whack-a-mole with all of the different elements right now between hydrogen and CO2 and methane, and trying to figure out, okay, what's the combination? What is the purpose? And is this an agenda with EV, with battery-powered things, with getting rid of fossil fuels and the whole agenda there? That is anathema here for us in North Dakota. We do not push battery-powered vehicles in the state, mostly because it's insane and it would not ever work in our winters, but also because we are such believers in oil and gas, and we know how the country is fueled. We also know coal is good. Coal is not bad. The coal lobby going after the CO2 thing is completely confusing to me. I do not understand the ties between why coal would be backing up the CO2 pipeline stuff, because they, in my mind, do not have anything to do with one another. In other people's minds, they say, well, no, if you go after one, we think you're going to come after us next, so we need to, circle the wagons. If you could explain that to me, that would be super great, Super Talk guy. So I can't.
We'll have a talk sometime.
I cannot figure that one out yet.
Yeah, we'll sit down and have coffee. I'll explain a whole bunch of things to you. One other thing too, Senator Kevin Kramer came out last week talking about because you mentioned the electric side of things and the batteries, mentioning that hey, Minnesota, North Dakota, we have these rare earth minerals, and with some of the constraints by the Biden administration, they're not allowing us to go after that. And coal is, in North Dakota, a integral part of some of that rare earth mining. So,
Right.
again, bigger picture, and you always have to question what the political agenda behind things are. But if you want to follow what's going on with Summit Carbon Solutions, Lori, is Beck going to be putting up a link to the Free Soil Coalition from Nebraska and Ramaswamy?
I will try to get that done. I will try to get that done and see if we can maybe show that video so that people can hear what you would say. That's a good idea. Well, we did not have a very good feed from the people that we were dealing with. It was called the Iowa Standard, which was an independent newspaper there, and he said I could use his feed. However, his feed had Wi-Fi problems, and it was in and out. There was another entity, so I have to check with them and see if they will allow us to share the video of it. But you can find all things CO2 on Beck News. Beck.news, and search for Capturing America's Heartland CO2 Pipeline, and you can go back and learn all about it. I did some 1-hour shows in the very beginning in May when we started doing this that are very instructive and good for people to learn all about the history of CO2 pipelines in North Dakota and the like. It's all found at Capturing America's Heartland CO2 Pipelines on Beck.news.
Thank you, Lori. Lori Hintz. We talk to her every Monday concerning what's going on with Summit Carbon Solutions' proposed CO2 pipeline. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Super Talk.
Plato's Closet in West Ashley and North Charleston are springing up cash. Just sell us your gently used warm weather styles like tees, shorts, sandals, and more. We're paying cash on the spot for gently used spring styles for guys and girls. Support sustainable fashion. This spring, do your thing and recycle the spring-inspired clothes, shoes, and accessories that are just hanging in your closet for cash on the spot. Let your spring clothes bloom into cash at Plato's Closet. Plato's Closet, located in West Ashley on Sam Rittenberg Boulevard and North Charleston on Rivers Avenue.
Welcome back to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
You're tuned to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270. I'm Steve Biden along with Jason Spees from The Crude Life. You can get your Crude Life Sunday mornings, 10 a.m. right here on Super Talk 1270. Okay, Jason, you and I had an interesting conversation yesterday with what is going on. I am so glad.
Recording in progress.
College football, I am so glad this is the final time there's only 4 teams in the playoffs, because I don't think you could screw it up any more than this. But I have a theory, because I just don't think they cared. I don't think they cared because, hey, it's our last one. It's the last time that this stodgy old committee is going to be making this decision. And tell you what, a lot of people have said that the demise of the NCAA is right around the corner, and this could be the springboard for it with what they did, choosing the 4 teams they did for the college football playoffs.
You know, it's really interesting when you bring the context like that, because I was prepared to start the conversation in another place, but, you know, you really bring up a good point, Steve, because soccer is football's number one competitor right now due to the concussion issue. So there's a big cliff coming for football. And when you look at the entitlements and the profiting over people that's happening, this could escalate football's demise a lot earlier. So when you take a look at what's happening right now, this is a great example of how a 13-member committee, I'm not going to get biblical on you, Steve, but 13 seems to be quite the number, especially when one of them accepted 30 pieces of silver. But in this instance, you have a committee of 13 that has decided to choose the future for a lot of people. They decided they're not going to have the present and the past matter. They want the speculation of their future to be what is thrust upon everybody else, Steve, because as a lot of people are understanding, Florida State went undefeated. They did everything they were asked to do. And a group of 13 people who are primarily old white men got together in a back room and decided Florida State wasn't good enough by their standards to be in the college football playoffs, Steve.
Well, and that's
really what we're talking about.
There's a North Dakota connection there as well.
Gene Taylor is one of the
Yes.
committee members. Yeah, he's down at Kansas State. And I kind of laughed because Kansas State is playing in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. All right, way to go, Gene Taylor, Pop-Tarts Bowl.
Only raspberry
And, Kansas,
frosted. That's the only Pop-Tart I like.
And that's a far cry from last year. Kansas State was supposed to be a lot better this year. And all of a sudden now, Gene Taylor, who's one of the selection members, I don't know how he voted or what he did. So I'm not trying to pick on Gene Taylor. It's just there's a local connection. That's all. But when you take a look at it, Steve, the issue they gave, how much time we got? We got 3 minutes. Okay. So the issue they gave for not allowing undefeated Florida State to go into the college football playoffs is because their quarterback got hurt. Well, what does that say about the backup quarterbacks who did their job? In fact, the second string quarterback got hurt and the third string quarterback came in and did his job too. And in college football, a lot of times your backup quarterback can start at a lot of other colleges.
We've seen that. We've seen that.
So,
that's the transfer portal. We've seen that take place and people flourish.
The number one quarterback in preseason was Caleb Williams, who was a freshman transfer from the University of Oklahoma, and he went to the USC, and USC was ranked number 5 in preseason, and they didn't even finish in the top 25. So that tells you how that selection committee does. I want to see Gene Taylor's picks all year. I want to see the selection committee's picks all year long, and how did they do against the public-private picks that we do every week? Are they better than we are? Are they worse than we are? What makes them so intuitive that they can predict the future, Steve? What makes them so arrogant that they can predict the future? Because that's what we're talking about. They completely disregarded Florida State's present and past coaching. They completely disregarded Florida State's past and present ability to change oil while driving 90 miles down the interstate. They went 2 games without their quarterback. They went into the swamp in Florida and won, which is not easy to do. And they won their championship game for the ACC. By the way, the ACC was 6-4 against the SEC this year. So the ACC had a better conference.
Hold that thought, Jason. We're up against a break. I want to hold you over the top of the hour because there's more to this and how this plays back into North Dakota, not the Gene Taylor connection. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270. I'm Steve Bach along with Jason Spees from the Crude Life on Super Talk 1270.
KLXX AM, Mandan, Bismarck, a Town Square media station, broadcasting from the View Community Credit Union studio. Recorded. Sean Hannity, weekday afternoons starting at 2 on Super Talk 1270.
Talk of the Town, brought to you by Big Boy, just get in line, it moves fast. Dakota Pharmacy and Dakota Natural Health Center. We're here to help you stay well. Trademark Realty, Peak Automotive and Service, Runnings, your home, farm, and outdoor store, and Silver Ranch. Welcome back to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
You're tuned to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270. I'm Steve Bach along with Jason Spees from the Crude Life. You can catch the Crude Life Sunday mornings, 10 a.m. right here on Super Talk 1270 with the Week in Review. And we're reviewing the decision by the college football playoff system, that stodgy group of old guys that just decided, we're going to throw these 4 teams in. And tell you what, there's an argument for a lot of teams, and a lot of people are upset about it. And I can't wait to listen to Sports Talk Radio later today and hear all the fallout, because Florida State should have been in. And by the way, the quarterback that got hurt for Florida State, as a Vikings fan, please draft him. Please draft him. I love him. Also, there's an argument for University of Oregon. There's an argument for Georgia. There's an argument for Ohio State. There's a lot of arguments out there, and it seems like this is the last year we have the 4 playoffs teams. Thank God. They're going to 12 next year. But this was the last time there was 4, and I think it just seems like they made the decision that, well, we have to have the SEC in there on the final one, because the conference that should have got left out was the SEC. You mentioned, Jason, that
I disagree.
The ACC had a better record in conference-wise, 6-4 versus the SEC.
But you got to understand, Steve, is that the the Pac-10, this is their last year. So it's almost like they had to make sure a Pac-10 got in there.
Well, in Washington
13-0.
Yeah, conference champion. Yeah. They had the same argument as Florida State, and they should have been in.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
although they were the lesser ranked team at the end of the day,
right?
At the end of the day, they had their loss was to
Oregon.
Let's see, Texas lost to Oklahoma, and
but beat.
I don't think Washington lost to Oregon. I think they lost to someone else.
No, Washington beat Oregon.
Yeah, Washington lost. They lost to nobody. And,
yeah, they were undefeated.
So you have three undefeated
Oregon's
teams.
loss was to Washington. What screwed it up with the argument was Texas had to be ahead of Alabama because Texas beat Alabama.
No, they didn't.
Yes.
No, that's only for head-to-head.
Texas beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa.
But what we're talking about here is what they want us to argue about is the schematics, okay? Because no matter how we slice and dice it, the tournament selection committee did not follow their own rules. They made up new rules and went with that, okay? Because they decided to say that the backup quarterbacks for Florida State weren't good enough to win. And here's what I say to that selection committee. How dare you introduce entitlement over opportunity? Because 10 years ago, Ohio State barely got in as the number 4 seed in the college football playoffs because their quarterback was hurt and they had a new guy come in. They had a backup quarterback, and that backup quarterback played against Alabama and won, the number 1 seed. Then that backup quarterback played against Oregon, and Marcus Mariota, who won every single offensive award that you could have that year except one. Marcus Mariota, who was handed the golden ticket preseason to be the one. Didn't even go number 1 in the draft, by the way. Jameis Winston went number 1. But a backup quarterback from Ohio State took that opportunity and won a national championship. And he was a bust in the NFL. He was a bust in the CFL. And he was a bust in the XFL.
Well, so was Mariota and Winston. So
exactly my point, Steve. Exactly my point is that you had a group of people this year deciding entitlement over opportunity because they knew best.
But we're used to that here in North Dakota.
Reminds me of.
Wait. We're used to that in North Dakota.
North Dakota. Because right now across my desk, Steve, you ready for some breaking news?
I am.
As of 9:58 a.m. this morning, Doug Burgum has dropped out of the presidential race.
Whoa! You heard it right here.
Last week when he was asked by Forum Communications, who he has total control over, so much control over, he hired the reporter that followed him on the campaign trail, Mike Nowatzki, who's now his press secretary guy. Okay. So Doug Burgum was asked last week by North Dakota media what's going on with the presidential race. And he said, don't count me out. You can Google it in the Jamestown Sun right now. Because all of a sudden, Jamestown got $122 million of state money, so Burgum is not out. Somebody nationally who he kind of respects, because Doug Burgum doesn't respect one North Dakota citizen. If you ever talk to him, he talks down to you. He believes he is better than everybody. That's why he can lie so easily to people. He lies to the media. He lies to Chuck Todd, says that he's never lied before. A man who has gotten a divorce has told someone else he's never lied before. Not only has he lied to another human, he's lied to God. So when I take a look at what Burgum is doing, now the New York Times reaches out to him and says, hey, what's going on with this presidential race? Well, now he doesn't control the New York Times. He has to actually tell the truth. And so what happens is that now it's come out. I thought he'd actually wait till California, to be honest. I thought he'd wait for those Silicon Valley investors. But he's dropping out, Steve. He's dropping out.
Yeah,
in fact, if you go ahead and take a look at the last 2 weeks, his name has not even been mentioned in any presidential stories.
Okay.
That's why it was so remarkable that he was saying, no, I'm still in it. Don't count me out, man. I'm Mr. North Dakota. Woohoo! Sorry, go ahead.
All right, but Jason, like I've said this all along, there needs to be an off-ramp. At some point, there needs to be an off-ramp. And what is that off-ramp for Governor Burgum? Because I think he is a viable candidate, but it's not as a Republican, because he's not. He's a globalist. Is the viability as an independent or a third party? Well, that remains to be seen, but I think the pathway is as an independent. I have a feeling we have not heard the end of Doug Burgum as a presidential candidate.
That might be. That very well could be. And maybe he'll come in as an independent. I don't know. I know that there's a certain amount of front work that needs to be done, with signatures, getting on ballots. So I don't know if he'll have a shot. To be honest, you have to have that so far in advance to have people out there gathering signatures for you. It's not easy to get on the ballot. That's why, Burgum is showing you how difficult it is. To be fair to Doug Burgum, it's not easy to run for president. And I think he thought it was. I really think he thought it was just kind of, oh, sure, that sounds fun. Yeah, okay, that sounds like a nice little box I can check in my list of things to do. And I got the state plane I can go campaign with. I got my wife's recovery thing I can go use as a piece of currency. Yeah, all kinds of good things. I can tell people I'll give them a gas card and not pay them. I don't even know if he's ever paid people on that gas card scam yet or what. So when you take a look at this is very much how things are operating in North Dakota. Let's go out and be positive. And if anybody disagrees with the logic or the history or the context, well, we'll just gaslight you by saying you're negative. We'll say that you're not thinking of it right. We'll say that you just don't know. We'll say that you're crazy. We'll say a lot of things to disrespect you and put you down because we're in a position of power and we can do that. And by the way, we're doing it with your money. That's how much power we have. So when I take a look at what the college football playoffs did, I compare it very much to what's happening in North Dakota. Look at what Matt Fern was on last week about. That's exactly what Matt Fern was talking about. A group of people got together in the back room at Commerce, worked with a guy from Bismarck Bismarck Mary, who wanted to start a nonprofit side hustle on the side of his full-time job. They went ahead and gave him $600,000. A part-time side hustle guy that did not have a nonprofit set up. They went ahead and appointed him. A group of people appointed in back rooms decided they knew what was best for North Dakota's future. They decided so much that Matt Fern and 24, 25 other filmmakers came out publicly and said, you might put us out of business. You have any idea what $600,000 does to our marketplace? In 1 year, Steve, I believe we need to go back and check all of those filmmakers and see how many of them are left in the business. Because I've talked to a handful, and they're looking for new jobs. And that is directly on Commerce. That is directly on Doug Burgum, because they are destroying North Dakota's economy with their entitlements and their just unbelievable, ruthless behavior.
Jason, we're up against a break, and let's pick this up on Wednesday a little bit, because I want to sit down and try to make a list of things that Florida State and Matt Furman filmmakers should be grateful for. We'll do a Doug Burgum moment of gratitude on Wednesday. How's that sound?
I love it. In fact, I'm serious. We'll do that. We'll do that on Wednesday.
All right, we're up against a break.
Do positive things.
Jason Spees, this is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1275.
Super Talk.
Plato's Closet in West Ashley and North Charleston are springing up cash. Just sell us your gently used warm weather styles like tees, shorts, sandals, and more. We're paying cash on the spot for gently used spring styles for guys and girls. Support sustainable fashion. This spring, do your thing and recycle the spring-inspired clothes, shoes, and accessories that are just hanging in your closet for cash on the spot. Let your spring clothes bloom into cash at Plato's Closet. Plato's Closet, located in West Ashley on Sam Rittenberg Boulevard and North Charleston on Rivers Avenue.
Welcome back to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
You're tuned to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270. I'm Steve Bakken along with Brad Ock, General Manager of Runnings in South Bismarck, 701 South Washington. And, of course, the cool store. Not to say the other ones aren't cool, but yours is my favorite, Brad. So,
thank you.
Yeah, I that's the one I shop at all the time. Mandan's okay.
It's because I feed you every Monday.
Well, that might be something to do with it. Dickinson's okay. Hettinger, I do stop at the Hettinger store when I'm down hunting down that area. But no, South Washington. Let's see. Our jerky of the day is actually not jerky today. It's Iowa Smokehouse meat sticks.
Yep. You know, so I was talking about it. One of the associates actually made a comment. Oh, no, I get one too.
You get one too because that was falling out.
Yeah, she's like, you should really bring these meat sticks with. I'm like, but that's not true. She's like, it's made by Iowa Smokehouse. Mm-hmm. It's in the same category. So, you know what, we're going to do it. Which then leads me, because we got another one later on I want to bring in. But these, this is one of her favorite snacks, are the original meat sticks from Iowa Smokehouse. And they have a spicy one, and a cheese one, and a jalapeno one, and a sweet one, and a teriyaki one. They have all sorts of them.
Okay, we've discussed this in the past. One of my favorites on sale right now, the steak bites. I love the steak bites. Mm-hmm. I love steak bites. You've got both of them on sale right now, both the sweet old-fashioned and the red pepper steak bites. So a little...
Yeah, Iowa Smokehouse, great brand. We do a lot with them. Those are the steak bites, steak strips I brought the other, what was it, 2 or 3 weeks ago?
3 weeks ago, yeah.
Yep, those were the ones.
Now they're on sale. So guess who's going shopping at Runnings? Because I don't spend enough time there as it is.
So the cool thing about the ads this time is this tool sale ad, it's still running.
You actually have 2 ads.
We have 2 running. Yeah, we're going to have 2 ads going on. So we'll activate this one, this gift sale one early. If you get in the mail, awesome, bring it in. We got the tool sale ad running on right now. A lot of cold weather running on. So we'll probably talk about that more in the next segment. But there's a lot of cold weather stuff hitting these next ads, too. And we don't want you to forget about it. You got a little sprinkle, so you've seen it. You know it's coming, even though we should probably bring the summer toys back out for the next 3 days.
Yeah, I would, at least for Wednesday.
Yeah, roll back the toy sale, summer toy sale, 25% off summer toys.
Good time to pick up a kayak. Maybe the fishing kayaks, because I've seen a lot of people out in the river fishing right now, too. All right.
See, it's become a thing.
Okay,
everyone knows it's here.
You know the thing?
Yeah.
Rick Ryder shows up every Monday now to grab a meat stick. You're welcome, Rick.
What's the jerky today?
See, it's a thing. So you need to go into the store and ask for that one. It's like, I watch somebody will walk into Mandan and go, hey, what's the jerky today? I was like, they're like, what?
Yeah, well, I had walked in.
And Brad, ask him.
I had walked in like, can we help you? And I turned on like, oh, never mind. Ooh, what'd you bring?
I want to go back and talk a little bit about the tool sale, because that started before, but that's running now because you guys started that early.
Yes.
Little extra gift from Runnings for shopping purposes, because, whether it's stocking stuffers, whether it's things that don't fit in stockings, a lot of great tools on sale. And who doesn't like tools for under the Christmas tree?
Yeah, and one of the surprises out of this ad was there is a Milwaukee inflator where if you buy the 2-pack batteries, the inflator is free. And we have 10 more on order. We have 8 rain checks.
So I'll tie this right back into summer, because who doesn't have a little floaty thing or things for the river that you want to keep in your pontoon or on your boat? And, you can't blow them up and deflate them all the time. Wait a minute, now you can.
Yes.
By the way, I've turned absolutely purple blowing things up for kids. And
it's like they're great. Air mattresses. When you have company come over, just go out and grab it. I couldn't find my little Coleman air pump. I'm like, oh wait, I got that tire inflator with the different attachment. I want to use that thing. And so that's just it. If you come in and it's not here, it's in the ad. A lot of this stuff is available that we can order, so it's been really nice. We've been able to put a note into the buyer, sent the note in on Friday. We're like, hey, we sold all 6 of these kits. We have 5 or 6 more on rain checks. We have a couple more who want them. He's like, all right. And then before we knew it, we had 10 more in allocation and more batteries to support it.
Well, and that was one of the things from the Black Friday sale, too. Because you guys were like, rain check. I mean, there was a few things on the flyer that didn't, or you sold out of really quickly.
The gun safe or the document safe, I think is how we refer to it. That's how you sell it now.
But you guys stepped up on the rain checks and you on the safes, you just wound up. Okay, everybody 20% off all the safes, no problem. But that's the nice thing with Runnings is something's not on the shelves. You got the other stores to talk to. You can get something there, and if it's something that's back ordered or has been a run on, it's like no problem rain checking. Because with a lot of sales, a lot of places go, okay, if it's not on the shelf, then sorry, we're out, and that's it.
Yeah, and we can get things transferred between stores relatively quickly. There's a few different options. We can, if it's Dickinson, if it's us, Rapid City, Belle-Fourche, some of these bigger stores, we all get trucks every day that go to and from our distribution center. They'll just drop it on that truck, go to the distribution center, unloads it, they flip it onto our next truck, and it comes in typically within a week.
I do like the Belle-Fourche store. I always stop in Belle-Fourche. I go down to Denver a lot or Greeley and down to Colorado. I drive a lot, and it's a nice... I'm in Belle-Fourche. I'm going to stop at Runnings. It's always a great place to stop.
True, and right before you kind of turn off a little bit south of town there, it's only, I think it's a 80,000 square foot store. They have got so much stuff packed into that building and fencing in that area. They do a good job down there, too. So Brandon's a fun guy. Guy to call and talk to.
So I do have to talk to you about, so last week we had the Sprecher Cherry Cola. That was phenomenal. You stepped it up. It's not possible to step it up from Sprecher's, I didn't think, but the 1919 root beer. And you guys actually sell the kegs.
We do. We have the kegs. We sell the cans individual. We have the cases there available to buy in the 12 packs. We go through a lot of 1919, and there's a reason, because it's
good.
Awesome. We use those little kegs for some of our holiday gatherings. Like, we'll just take it out if we do like a picnic or something. We'll pull the kegs out because it's really easy. It's a good price. It's $22.99 or $23.99. Keg's not bad. We actually had them in over Ladies' Night sampling. So a lot of different people got tried in 1919. It's a great root beer. So if you
haven't done this at home, I strongly suggest grabbing a keg. And if you're entertaining, especially in the summer, although it's never a bad time for ice cream, root beer floats.
Yeah, you know what?
1919
Tom and Jerry's are coming out right now. I mean, you could do Tom and Jerry's for the adults. You could do some root beer floats for the kids. It's a good time. Have a couple kegs at the holiday gathering.
I don't have to sit at the kids' table for that, though.
I mean, I might want... Maybe you can do both. You know what? You go from one to the other.
Right. We'll have to experiment. Tom and Jerry batter with the little 1919 root beer kicked... Hey, don't laugh.
You never know.
We might stumble onto something.
You know what? Yes.
Steve Bakken, this is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270. We're talking with Brad Ock of Runnings. Not one, but two flyers out right now. We're going to get into the gift sale coming up next. And then Runnings also does a great job participating in the community with a lot of great events coming up. We're going to talk about some of those a little bit later this hour as well and where they help out, whether it's the Stockmen's Association or some of the other organizations around the community. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Hey guys, time to get in on the action for the biggest moments in basketball with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projections, place your entry, and win up to 100 times your money. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit of up to $100. Just download the Prize Picks app and use the code GET100. That's code GET100 on Prize Picks for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy.
Without apology, The Regular Joe Show with Joe Gigante. Weekday evenings at 9 on Super Talk 1270 and the free Super Talk 1270 mobile app. Talk of the Town, brought to you by Big Boy, just get in line, it moves fast. Dakota Pharmacy and Dakota Natural Health Center. We're here to help you stay well. Trademark Realty, Peak Automotive and Service, Runnings, your home, farm, and outdoor store, and Silver Ranch. Welcome back to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
You're tuned to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270, and I get a text. I was
wondering why you took a bite out of that right away.
I got a text from Kev. He said, I can hear you chewing, you knucklehead. Well, hello, that's the point. If you bring in Iowa Smokehouse products, I'm going to eat them, and I don't care if it's on the air.
Let's say we're doing some damage to this. Actually,
I know they're almost gone.
It's a 1 pound bag too,
and there's 5 sticks left.
I was gonna say that's a lot of sodium.
I'll drink more.
But you know what?
Today.
Iowa Smokehouse is on sale right now.
I know.
So it's a good
steak bites.
It's a good time to come in because we talk about beef jerky every single week.
Well, the gift sale. Okay, so
yes.
You've got the gift sale, stocking stuffers, all the way up to big stuff.
And we got that big DeWalt sale going on right now. Mm-hmm. It's a great time to come in and buy multiple pieces of DeWalt Bear tools. You get the free batteries, you get the carrying case, you get the charger, and then you get the flashlight that goes with it. But we threw a couple Milwaukee things in here too, and we don't want to forget about Milwaukee. So there's always a little bit of Milwaukee sprinkled in during that.
You guys
DeWalt
always
sale.
go back and forth. It seems like one of them's always on a sale because Runnings facilitates one of them always being on sale, either Milwaukee or DeWalt, or there are a few times of the year that there might be a little overlap.
Each one does 2 sales a year. So this is your chance to come in. Always you got to wait till the summer. But what we don't want you guys to forget about, excuse me, is we got a little bit of dusting of snow.
Yeah.
So we got some 50s coming, so it's really confusing.
Black Friday, I bought a Dakota Snowblade on Black Friday. And you were just telling me it's like somebody ran them for cheaper than what you were selling them for,
someone...
and you price matched.
Yeah, someone came in and said, hey, I saw this online for $89.99. We're like, who's running it for $89.99? We're like, oh, whatever, let's just do it. So, yeah, we want to price match. We're going to price match any local competitor. We're not going to let them get away with doing something cheaper than us. Better yet is if you find something that's regularly cheaper than us, we just send a note to our buyer and they change the count.
Perfect.
So that way we can get back. We want to be the best price in town. So we encourage you to do a price match with us because we want to see that.
So it's like you have a whole bunch of little secret shoppers out there for you.
Right, because then you save me time because I have to go out every month, and we do little shops like that. And then
if you can have the customers do it, why not?
Yeah, even better, and then we save the money in the process. But the gift ad, getting back into it, there's a lot of things going on with Eileen's Nuts right now. So Eileen's has all sorts of candies for us. They're baking nuts, pecan halves and pieces, cashews, all that stuff is walnuts. They're all on sale right now. So it's a good time to come in and pick some up.
It's baking season.
It is baking season, so don't let that one slip past you.
And nuts have gotten really expensive over the last several years.
They really have. They keep going up. And ice melt, so I know I want to keep circling back to cold weather.
All right, fine. I'll give you your cold weather because I mentioned I just bought a Dakota Snowblade.
Right.
And the reason I went with that is because you guys have the replacement blades. You don't have to buy the whole new thing because the blades eventually wear down, and it takes a while, but eventually you guys have the replacement blades.
Right, and it's a metal handle. Yeah. So as long as you don't run over that thing, if you run over, just kind of bend it back into place
a little bit.
But we got the replacement
because there was a method in my madness because I was discussing this because I was going to get the big shovel and I wanted a big. And my wife was like, "Well," I'm like, "Which one? What should we get here?" And she's like, "Well, what's easier to use?" I went with the Dakota Snowblade.
There we go.
That way now she can go shovel.
Yeah, so
method to my but. If she does a little extra shoveling, see, I have no problem with the snow blowing, and I love the snow. I'm that guy. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, hey, we got snow. Cool. I'm going out, and I'll do the entire block. I'm that guy.
I'm the person who likes that guy.
Yeah, I'm sure. But I'm out anyway. It's like I took it out of the garage. If I take it out of the garage, I want to use it.
There you go.
You've got some. I might have to upgrade. You've got some really nice deals on snowblowers right now. Yeah, so
Cub Cadet, we have Cub Cadet, Husqvarna, Aaron's. We're selling a lot of Aaron's a lot lately too. What's nice about Cub Cadet?
I had an Aaron snowblower that I got from my grandfather that 50 years. It just all steel lasts.
Mm-hmm. They got the deluxe and then the platinums, and you can really, we have
snowblower I ever had.
From a base model, and you can get something, really out there, and we can order in some really cool units too. If you look online and you look throughout Husqvarna, Cub Cadet, and Aaron's, and you see something you want, we can get with the vendor. We can get the bigger ones ordered in for you as well. So we want to take care of you on the snowblower side. Here's the concern: winter it's pushing later. We should have some snow on the ground. We should have some things going on right now.
We got all the snow we need this morning. It's fine.
So, I mean, I'm not going to, don't quote me on this. I'm not going to say this is going to be an issue. My concern is on the next big snowfall when the cold weather snaps, everybody's going to come in at once, and then we're going to have a 2-week refill window again. So we saw this in October. We got that weather. Boom, we sold out of everything so fast, and people were scrambling. Well, we got refilled now. So we have everything back in stock. We're ready to go. Buy it now. It's a lot of cold weather's going on sale right now.
That's the other thing too, is in a lot of vendors, they'll get their allotment of snow blowers for the year. And when they're gone, they're gone. Same with in the spring with lawnmowers. You'll get your allotment, and when they're gone, they're gone. Not that many stores have the ability to go, okay, we sold out, but we're getting more quickly.
We can.
Yes.
And we can
Runnings
get that going
that.
for you. If you bought, we've outfitted 2 Cub Cadet riding lawnmowers with snowblower attachments this year. So if you have a Cub Cadet rider at home and that's something you're interested in, come on in and talk to us. We've ordered in 2.
It's the only way to go.
Yeah.
Only way to go. And then you put the soft cab on top of that.
Oh, and then you're real. Then you're
set.
protected.
You're set.
Go to get yourself some, DeWalt makes wireless headphones.
I would go from doing the block to the entire neighborhood at that point.
Just put in some headphones, bundle up, get a 1919 or Tom and Jerry, and go out. You know what? And have some fun. Blow some snow, darn it.
I would do the entire, if I had that hookup, I would do the entire neighborhood.
But you got to be warned.
Watch, there would be one in my driveway when I get home. And
there you go.
One of my neighbors would be
neighbors all chipped together be like, we're in. we heard it. It's on the radio, man. I got the recording.
Well, the other side of that, too, is take a look at last winter and some of that heavy, wet snow. And what you typically see on the store floor are residential machines.
Yes.
You guys also have the ability to get, if somebody doesn't want to screw around, commercial.
Yeah.
And you can get the commercial version of a lot of these machines.
Because a lot of these little, 2-stage lawnmowers or snowblowers, you're looking at, I think it's like an 8-inch is kind of where they're seeing, that's like a comfort level that they're going to perform well. You can get a 3-stage snowblower that's going to perform better at 12 plus inches. I should look at that since we're doing this on the radio and you're telling me.
And then if there's that one neighbor that you don't like and you want to blow 30, 40 feet across the street over to their...
The 3-stage will get it there.
With the 3-stage.
Absolutely. They'll take care of that. They'll blow it over that direction, no problem at all.
But that's the other thing, too, whether it's the Tools or the Cub Cadet or the Aaron's or, DeWalt or Milwaukee, if there's something not there, you want the heavier grade, the contractor's version of or commercial version of, Runnings has the ability to go out and get those.
Correct. We're going to be there for you. So here's the deal. We got it straight from the Cub Cadet website. The 2-stage is ideal for clearing 12 inches of snow or less. And then let's go down here to the 3-stage.
See, I'm okay with that because that means I just have to snow blow more.
Yep. So the 3-stage can handle up to 23 inches of snow.
Perfect.
And not be bogged down. So it's really going to help take care of some of their depending on what's going.
And you blow it onto your neighbors. So.
Yeah. And the 3-stage clears 50% faster, it says. So there you go. Now I got clarification. No one's misled.
It's like Tim the Toolman Taylor. More power.
I could talk about it. I shouldn't do it.
Shouldn't do it. You talk about it, though. Pets, of course, always some great pet items, whether it's it's a horse or it's your dog or your cat. You've got some
chicken.
In Mandan.
Chicken, yeah.
Well, Mandan.
Got that.
But a lot of great things in there for them as well.
Absolutely. So it's a good sale. And if you don't get it, come into the store. We got plenty at the door when you walk in. Take an ad, see what we got.
Perfect.
Get your cold weather before it's gone.
Okay, so one last hit on cold weather, because one of the things you have to think about with cold weather and snow blowing, and I tend to overdress because I'm going to be out there a while. Mm-hmm. I overdress, but I'm also working, and there's some great new products out there. The Burn line that you guys have with cold weather gear. Wicks that moisture away, and it performs better than
yes. Yeah, there's a difference. It's just like your hunting clothes too. You can it all stacks up on each other. It gets better as you go. There's more features, more options, more things to get, and we got those options for you guys. So come in and take a look at what we got.
Perfect. I'm in. I am totally in. And if we weren't out of the meat sticks, I would chew in Kev's ear because he's listening at the store right one more time. I would, because gosh, those are so good. Those Smokehouse products are Iowa Smokehouse products on sale with the sale. Don't forget about the gift sale going on. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit about some of the cool things that Runnings does for the community, involved in a lot of different organizations. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Super Talk.
It's time for another season of the Palmetto Porch, an original podcast from Discover South Carolina. I'm Devin Whitmire. Join me as I get to the heart of what makes South Carolina such a great place to visit by speaking to the locals who make it so special. Premiering December 5th, find the Palmetto Porch wherever you get your podcasts. And for more information about our show, visit scpalmettoporch.com.
Welcome back to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
We're tuned to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270. I'm Steve Bogan along with Brad Ock, General Manager at Runnings in South Bismarck, 701 South Washington. And one of the things Runnings does, they do a great job getting connected into the communities as well. They're always there for support. We've talked a little bit about our Capital City Christmas that I started when I was mayor for arts and humanities projects around the community. You guys are big sponsors of that. One of the things coming up right around the corner, the Marina Bay Ice Fishing Tournament.
Cold.
We're going to have ice.
See?
Yeah, okay.
We're circling back.
And I only brought this up because of you keep going back to the cold stuff. Winter. I won't winter over by the middle of January, but we'll have to wait until after the ice fishing tournament.
A really cool tournament. We work well with Stacy over there. She's a great partner. She gets us involved with it. The Broken or the Budweiser Marina Bay Ice Fishing Tournament. It's coming up. I think the rules thing is January 12th. The tournament might be the 13th. Yep, it's right around there. Okay, tournament's on the 13th. The rules and bank kind of meeting stuff is on the 12th. Really cool. I got to participate that 2 years ago. I think I got to go out. We put a team out in that, and a couple guys go. They have a great time. And I've never done ice fishing before. When I was in high school, I remember walking out on the bay. I'm like, nope, not my thing. I'm a very large guy. They're all driving out there having a good time, but it was really cool to be part of that tournament and see kind of the community that comes together and goes all out there, drills a bunch of holes, and it's crazy.
One of the other things you got coming up this weekend, as a matter of fact, the Stockman's Ball. Yeah, so,
the North Dakota Stockman's Association has their ball this Saturday at the Bismarck Hotel and Conference Center. Very proud to partner with them. We're members. We're members with them. If you're not members with them and you're in the cattle industry, incredible organization to be a part of. They send out member alerts on what's happening, anything within the cattle industry. If there's legislation happening right now in North Dakota, you get a recap of what's happening there. They send out the magazine too, but they also they have lobby support in both state and our national representatives when it comes to that kind of stuff. So they're very involved. So if you're in the cattle industry and you're not part of NDSA, you should probably look at getting part of the organization. Really cool. They did the state conference here last year, so we got to play a larger role in the big conference from the North Dakota side. This year we're participating with the Stockman's Ball. I don't get to go.
What?
Because I'm in the Nutcracker this weekend. I got little kids in dance, so I'm participating in that. So I'm a party parent, so I get to dance in the Nutcracker.
Your wife likes to dress you up and take you places. So
there we go.
Yes,
yeah. And then, I get to dance with the kids.
Your
be
eye
backstage,
candy, Brad. Your eye candy. That's what it is.
You could see my hair toss right now. You would. Oh, yeah. I would agree with that.
He's wearing a Santa hat, by the way. If you walk into Runnings, just look for the tall guy wearing a hat. He wears the one other thing too, just briefly before we hit the break. You mentioned the Stockman's Ball coming up this weekend, but you guys are also been helping out a local,
really cool. Leighton Woodbury.
Athlete.
Leighton Woodbury, he's part of the Bullfighters World Finals this weekend in Vegas. They had a send-off party a couple days ago, bunch of silent auction stuff, so we donated some stuff for the silent auction. Really cool guy from Carson. participating at a world level now with other bullfighters down there in Las Vegas. It starts on the 8th. So it's the 8th through the 16th. It's a long one.
Yeah.
They're down there for. So, we had a cool little send-off party. Some people from the store got to go participate. And, we were able to donate some stuff and raise $550 for them. So that was really cool to see a great turnout for a donated item.
Gas money. It just every little bit helps if you're in that circuit, and helping out local athletes like that. Great. You can't get more involved into the community than Runnings does. Brad, thanks for coming in today.
Hey, you bet. It was a good one. I liked it.
And I like the 1919 and root beer and the Iowa Smokehouse country style original meat sticks. Those were good too. Yes.
You bet.
And we'll see when Rick pops in next Monday. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
KLXX AM, Mandan, Bismarck, a Town Square media station, broadcasting from the View Community Credit Union studio.
Plato's Closet in West Ashley and North Charleston are springing up cash. Just sell us your gently used warm weather styles like tees, shorts, sandals, and more. We're paying cash on the spot for gently used spring styles for guys and girls. Support sustainable fashion. This spring, do your thing and recycle the spring-inspired clothes, shoes, and accessories that are just hanging in your closet for cash on the spot. Let your spring clothes bloom into cash at Plato's Closet. Plato's Closet, located in West Ashley on Sam Rittenberg Boulevard and North Charleston on Rivers Avenue.